How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Solana update, and my strategy nailed this breakout. We'll dive into that. Let's start off with this range. It might be confusing, but the strategies that I use are chart patterns, moving averages, and Fibonacci's, and I think Fibonacci's is the most important one. Definitely spend most of your time learning that. It's going to give you future price targets that are further exceeding what a chart pattern could give. For example, right now we spotted this inverse head and shoulders pattern. It broke out of the neckline, and this triggers a move towards a target. This is what we were talking about over the last week on the YouTube channel while we're still trapped underneath this. So it's nice to see a week has passed and developed, and we've now made a new higher high. So it's showing development off of this low, which originally was a lower low that broke down and wanted to continue the downtrend that we found ourselves in for majority of this year so far. So when Solana topped out in January, it got caught under the moving averages and it went back underneath into the next range. And that's why when you break down out of range, you just go to the next low. So if this was the current support, if it eventually becomes resistance, you go to the next support. Just like previously, as we were progressing higher, this was the support, and this was the resistance of the range that kept on rejecting and sending it back down to the support. As long as that held with the uptrend behind it, as you can see, and the bullish crosses that it was in with the moving averages underneath acting as support, eventually, and of course high lows being maintained, eventually it should break to the upside. And then this previous resistance now becomes support and was used to be as a pivot point to make a new all-time high. So with this new higher high, with my strategy pretty much nailing this breakout, we're now seeing it entering a new range with the highest point of that range being $300, the previous all-time high. So I'm expecting, as long as this new range that we've broken into now holds a support, the level that I want to see held is $180. As long as this now stays as support, I'm actually expecting 230 to 260 to be the next targeted area. But I think that once that area is broken, it's already enough of a signal for me to think a new all-time high is next. I know the all-time high is $300, but through the Fibonacci strategy itself, once this area is broken, it actually targets $400 to $600. Now that's solely through the Fibonacci strategy. At the moment, down here, we had this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and the target, as you can see, was into the next range. It broke out. We're now seeing that. So great development, but we have nothing further beyond that point. Only the Fibonacci's will give me that. So even measuring just that area, we can see targets go beyond what this is expecting. In fact, this is just saying this is target area 1. Maybe after meeting this target, we correct a bit, go sideways before, boom, heading into a new all-time high. So that's what the small Fibonacci from here is calling for. But then we've got another one measuring that entire move down the previous year, and that's calling for 400 to 600. In fact, could go up as high as 1,500. But we'll take it range by range, of course. Everything can go wrong along the way. Nothing is as smooth as it seems. If you've been here long enough, you know that. But there is another chart pattern, and we're just now, today, breaking out of this double bottom, this macro double bottom, and that also ties into that Fibonacci, as you can see over here. Meeting the 2414 at 330. This target is just slightly above that, 350. So we've got overlapping. It's just acting as confluence, another layer of confirmation. And so for Solana, this is what I'm expecting to happen next. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. If you want to learn this strategy, book in a one-to-one call. If you don't have as much time, check out the ebook. Or if you want to be part of a community, getting some further updates, as well as listening to more of my personal thoughts, join the Discord down below.